Okay, we are here. Oh, I thought that song was safe, but I guess not. I could. Howdy, Xavier. Good to see you back in the chat. Good to know. Suzunosuke songs are going to get caught up by YouTube's copyright system. Unfortunate. I could have just turned it off and waited for the stream to come back on, but I was like, whatever. I'll just end this one and start a new one. We will return. Lame. That's why I like Hoyo. Hoyo lets you just... Hoyo doesn't care. That's what I get for dissing the medials, huh? Yeah, you diss the medials, they send the YouTube copyright gods after you. I was like, we should probably split this thing up because we are... Let's see, Oolacile Falls to the Dark. Oolacile collapses. There we go. All right. Listen, it's fair. It's their song, their copyright. Listen, I don't understand how you cannot consider it, though, fair use when I'm literally just putting the song on low volume in the BGM while I'm talking over it and showing a completely unrelated thing. Who wants to listen? Who wants to listen to a song like that? I'm just saying. There's there's so many better ways YouTube could handle these types of situations. Like put a link to the song in the thing or whatever. Make sure, like, it's not like I'm getting revenue from this even, so it's not like I'm making any money off that. Chester is dragged to Oolacile from the future. Chester encounters Elizabeth. Request to save Dusk. Chester encounters Artorias. Request to save Dusk. Chester encounters Artorias. Pillages Oolacile and encounters Artorias. Covertly. Artorias meets Undead from the future. Artorias meets Goth and is subsequently Artorias succumb meets Goth. Oh yeah, let's see. Meets imprisoned. Encounters imprisoned Goth. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there's a lot to say about like algorithms and things of that nature, but it is what it is. Anyway, Artorias encounters imprisoned Goth and yeah, let's just put it like that. Artorias encounters imprisoned Goth. Artorias succumbs, meets, encounters chosen undead, and succumbs to the abyss. Artorias is killed. You know what? I'm gonna... Calamite visits Oolacile and recruits stray dogs. Undead is dragged to Oolacile from the future. Artorias encounters imprisoned Goth and Undead defeats Sanctuary Holy Beast. Technically, we don't have to encounter Elizabeth and hear her request or anything like that, so we'll just go through the canon events. Artorias encounters imprisoned Goth, encounters chosen undead and succumbs to the abyss. The chosen undead kills Artorias. We won't mention freeing Alvina. Provides guidance to Seath. Provides guidance to Seath. Acts as guide to surrounded Seath. Or let's just say Seath. Menace is chosen undead. Kills Menace. And stops the abyss. Obviously, the chosen undead returns to the future. Pyromancer goes astray. Strays. Goes astray and creates dark pyromant, black flame. Let's just say dark pyromancy. In abyss. In the abyss. Goes astray. In the abyss. And creates dark pyromancy. Chosen Undead kills Manus and stops the abyss. The Chosen Undead returns to the future at some point, of course. Kills Manus and rescues Dusk, we should say, actually. The abyss collapses, gradually collapses into dark chasm of old. Into fragments. Falls apart into fragments. Oh, falls apart and becomes fragmented, we should say. Oh. So let's see. The gods return from the future. Oh, you know what? I should make a YouTube post for those who would be subscribed. 1 second, chat. I completely forgot. Yeah. I always forget to do that when we have these types of situations. Original stream. YouTube didn't like my BGM on the original stream. So, new stream. New stream here. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, everyone. YouTube didn't like everyone for the... So new... Didn't want to wait for Stream to return after changing OST. So new stream here. There we go. There we go. That way, you know, everyone on every platform can see. Oh god. Oh god. There's so much here. So let's see. The chosen undead kills Manus and rescues Dusk. The abyss gradually falls apart and becomes fragmented. The chosen undead returns to the future. Post collapse cleanup. Fragmented. Oolacile is demolished and buried. Or Oolacile falls to ruin. We'll have these things be the last thing. Falls to ruin and is buried. And is largely buried. Oolacilians construct. No, let's just say this. Grave to Artorias is buried. Is buried in in old Oolacile mausoleum. Or Alvina and Seath. Seath becomes Artorias's gravekeeper. Alvina establishes Forest Hunter Covenant. Royal Wood becomes Darkroot Garden. Anor Londo creates Artorias's Abyss Walking Legend. Concocts would probably be the better word. So Anor Londo concocts Artorias's Abyss Walking Legend. The gods... Oolacile. Let's see. It's not called Dark Chasm of Old. What is the Oolacile Abyss area called? Oh god, I do not remember what they call it. I'm trying to see. Chasm of the Abyss. There we go. Chasm of the Abyss is buried. Manus and the Chasm of the Abyss are buried. Oh, let's see. Manus. Oh, actually, let's just say Manus and the Abyss are buried and covered up. Evidence are buried, and Orlando concocts Abyss Walking Legend. We don't have to mention like the idea of a cover up there. It's kind of inherent to that. Oolacilians. Create crest of Artorias. Surviving Oolacilians. Dusk. Lives life in woods as hermit with Elizabeth. Surviving Oolacilians. Construct. You know, we could say the whole barrier with the Chris Artorias is part of the whole thing on the old mausoleum grounds and stuff like that. On old mausoleum grounds. Manus and the Abyss are buried and to hide evidence. And Orlando Cox Abyss legend buried in old Oolacile mine grounds. Everything there. Yep, okay, so all of that is pretty consistent. Alvina establishes the Forest Hunter Covenant. That definitely has to happen during that period. Actually, we can actually hold off on that until after Undead Burg and stuff are made, right? Because it's all like those types of undead that are coming there. So, this part and becomes fragmented. I think that's everything for this, right? There's nothing else. Yeah, I can't think of any other major detail we need to mention for specifically this period. All right, I think we can move on then. Firstborn concocts, announces plans to ally with the dragons. That actually, that doesn't happen first because we still have other stuff that needs to occur there, of course. Seath abducts Guinevere's holy women, or I'm going to use the Greek name Scylla. Whatever, don't care. Experiments. I will just say for experiments. To create the Scylla for experiments. We should probably also mention the creation of the Snakeman at some point. Seath is born. Shira is born to Seath and Guinevere. We'll move this all to down here. Seath, performs... We'll call this Seath performs various experiments for now, but I feel like I can do better than this. Oh my god. Oh, it's not going as planned. Hides evidence. Seath connects himself, links himself to the primordial crystal. Invents crystal sorcery. We can put this down here. Seath invents crystal sorcery and we'll also put smithing here and smithing. If I recall correctly, we also have evidence this starts early, so Seath experiments on fusing humans and hides evidence. The Silver Crown, the Bival Pearl. Oh boy, this is... I'm trying to think if there's any other specific details that I'm not remembering about this, because we go through with the old Night Shield and stuff. Of course, we see the crystal halls, but that would be for later. What would be some of the earlier stuff? Oh, we could say a few visiting humans and hides evidence. Yeah, I can't speak to when exactly the Scorpion people come into the picture, because he could have created them at it could have theoretically created them at this early point, but it could also just be later, when he already goes cray cray, full madness. For experiments, right. Smithing. Yeah, I feel like that's all I can really say in like the broader scheme besides Titanite lizards and stuff, right? So probably we could say Seath creates crystal golems and lizards. Seath creates snake men and moonlight butterflies. Like, that's about it, right? Like, just the individual enemies. I guess we could say Seath creates the crystal cave as well, right? We know he feeds people to the clam, so I think we should do this. Seath links himself to primordial crystal and creates crystal cave. He creates crystal golems and lizards, snake men and moonlight butterflies. Invents crystal sorcery and smithing. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think this is fair in terms of covering like all the major stuff that vaguely happens around this period or up to the next big stuff involving Seath. So Seath abducts Guinevere's holy women for experiments. Seath succumbs to madness. We'll put that there. Evangelists abduct Guinevere's holy women for experiments. Snakemen convert archive tower, archive building into prison tower, or let's say archive tower into prison. Uh, we don't need to get that detailed there. Evangelists abduct Guinevere's holy women for experiments. In the tower. Let's do it in this order instead. It's about the same time either way, but into prison for experiments. Evangelists try. Abduct. Try to abduct Vamos and kill him. And fail. Fail, killing him. Titanite demons arise. Begin to arise from slabs. Firstborn kills and captures Titanite demons in Anor Londo. Captured Titanite demons. We don't need to mention the recycling part like that. William. Firstborn and Guinevere hold funeral for Vamos. Vamos is sent to the catacombs. He is sent to Nito and becomes a skeleton. Vamos escapes and hides. Oh, well, let's see. Vamos becomes a skeleton. Vamos hides to... No, well, it's not really hides. Vamos retreats to the catacombs. To Nito and becomes a living skeleton. And, let's say, and is reanimated as a skeleton. Retreats to the catacombs to continue smithing. Giant black child. Giant blacksmith takes over royal smithy. Titanite demon begins to arise from slabs. Firstborn kills and capture Titanite demons in Anor Londo. Firstborn announces plans to ally with the Archdragons. I think that's about it before we get to the Firstborn planning stuff, right? Killing him. We'll set this as a separate event. There we go. Yeah, that makes sense for me. So what we'll have here is Anor, Londo, battles, Duke's archive to a standstill. Yeah, that makes sense. Hold funeral for Vamos. Plans to ally with the dragons. Is that it? I think that's the only thing we really need. I don't think we need to make a separate event for the subsequent stuff, right? Archdragons. Pavel plots to assassinate Firstborn in royal manner. Firstborn kills and captures Titanite demons in Anor Londo. The Firstborn enhances the plans. Firstborn. All right, let's see. Firstborn abandons firelinking and plans to ally with Dragon. Firstborn's plan causes a scandal. Announced plans cause a scandal. Have plots to assassinate. Firstborn is forced to abdicate and leaves Anor Londo. Yeah, we'll say that. And leave Anor Londo in disgrace. Disgraced Firstborn is expelled from Pantheon and I'll just say expelled from Pantheon because that includes like destroying the statues and stuff like that. We don't need to mention the name. Firstborn kills and captures Titanite demons in Anor Londo, abandons Firelink and plans to ally with the dragons. Firstborn announced plans cause a scandal, have a plus to assassinate Firstborn in the royal manor. Firstborn forced to abdicate and leave Anor Londo. Actually, we should say abdicates and leaves Anor Londo. Disgraced Firstborn is expelled from Pantheon. I think that covers it. Yeah, I think that more or less covers what we're at. Can also put this post collapse cleanup. Night King Rendell. Rendell becomes Night King because we have the silver coins have his image by the time Guinevere starts collecting them for her leave, her departure. Rendell becomes Night King. Yeah, Rendell becomes Night King and begins. Yeah, let's just put that. This is the whole thing with him and the dragon stuff. Berenike, Tarkus, and Berenike Knights become the strongest. Let's just put there. Berenike Knights become the strongest. In the world of man, becomes Night King. Yeah, I think that cover becomes Night King of Balder. Okay, gods abandon Anor Londo. Guinevere secretly leaves for Thorland. Guinevere marries Vaughn and Mary's Flan and Mary's Flan. Velka. I don't know how soon we can say Velka becomes part of Kareem, so I'm gonna hold off on that one for now. Gods abandon Anor Londo, and enter the world of man. Leaves for Thorland. We'll put this as a separate event for now. There we go. Many of your what's the word? Take shelter under Lloyd in Thorland and Mary's Flan. Secretly leaves. Gwendolyn with creating illusion. Silver Knights remain. Protecting Anor Londo with illusory goddess. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers. I think that pretty much covers, because we don't know when Ferosa gets established or something. It could be any time during the events of Dark Souls 1 or even afterwards. Same, which obviously also affects the timeline for Archdrake and Peak. Is there anything else I'd want to include in this, though? Giant blacksmith goes up without strong grasp of language. Yeah, we could say that. I think that's fair. Silver Knights remain protecting Anor Londo with illusory goddess. Actually, you know, it secretly leaves. Gwendolyn creates illusion. Illusion of Guinevere to act as stand-in. Leaves with the gods. Silver Knights remain protecting Anor Londo with a illusory goddess. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we'd want to include, so if not, I think we can with the gods. Guinevere secretly leaves with the gods. Secretly leaves with the gods. Yeah, I don't think we need to like go into like her plans or anything in deep with that. I think it's what we have is fine. I think that pretty much covers then all the major stuff. Most gods join Lloyd in Thorland. Make life becomes beloved as god of alcohol and medicine. And marries Flann. Rosaria and the dancer are born to Guinevere and Flann. If you drop Forest Gloom with Delordra, what hijinks do you think would ensue? I'm sure you could come up with plenty in any setting. I'm gonna just focus on I'm just gonna focus on the already eccentric characters we have in this setting. Thank you very much. Guinevere takes shelter under Lloyd and marries Flann. Dens are born to Guinevere and Flann. As god of alcohol. Yeah, I feel like that probably covers like at least a good portion of the major events that are happening here, right? Oh. I always feel like I'm forgetting something, chat. Like I'm always like, damn, there must be something I'm missing. I don't know. We'll just move on then. I gotta stop like trying to like obsess over because we can always go back and add it as I've already done. Giant blacksmith grows up without strong grasp of language. Anor Londo constructs Undead Burg. Oh, you know what? Like, here's one thing we forgot we should add. Frampt betrays primordial serpents and sides with Gwyn. There we go. Let's see. Anor Londo constructs. Frampt collaborates with Frampt. Gwendolyn, let's say Gwendolyn and Frampt collaborate for new undead mission for firelinking. Constructs Undead Burg. This actually reminds me the stuff we say, we should probably mention Firelink's shrine. At Firelink Shrine. All right. And Orlando constructs Undead Burg. The Undead Burg. Let's put Amperish. Morgan doing so. And Orlando establishes Bell of Awakening. Prerequisite for Sen's Fortress. Yeah, prerequisite was fine. I was thinking about, is there a better way to put that, but now, Anor, Londo erects barriers to Islith, Nito, and Seath with Gwyn's power. Anything else that we really kind of have to mention here? That's funny, Nick, but let's see. I think we could probably move on here. Like I said, if I'm forgetting stuff, chat, you guys will totally remind me. 100%, right? Like you guys would never hide things from me. We put this here. I think we can move the blacksmith guy here, giant blacksmith. Let's just say it grows up in isolation. Well, let's also put the Dragon School. Vinheim establishes the Dragon School. We could put Logan attends as one of the original students. Admittees, the original students. Let's see, Logan attends as one of the original students. Logan becomes major contributor to sorcery in the world of men. The Way of White, with sorcerers of Vinheim. Wars with sorcerers. Sorcery. Sorcery, proliferates among the world of man. Among mankind. Sorcerers and sorcerer smiths proliferate. Let's just say proliferate, period. Sorcerers try and fail to recreate Oolacilian sorcery. The Way of White wars with sorcerers. Havel and the Way of White collaborate to simplify great magic barrier. The Way of Light simplifies advanced miracles. For army, for cleric, army. There we go. There we go. Oh wait, should make sure that there we go. To simplify great magic barrier, I forget what it's called, the magic blossom shield. What is that? What is that? What is it called, chat? It's got to be here, right? Sacred Bloom Shield, that's the name, okay. That's what they call it. Yeah, because here, right, as you can see, Holy Flower, right? And they just translate as Sacred Bloom, okay. I was like, I don't... I was like, is it like the... It's not like the white flower shield? I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. All right, so... Let us... Yeah, there we go. Sacred Bloom Shield is invented. The Way of White invents Sacred Bloom Shield. The Way of White invades Vinheim. Logan becomes hero of sorcerers with Soul Spear. In war, becomes war hero. Way of White invades the Sacred Bloom Shields. Cleric, we'll say cleric army invades Vinheim. Comes war hero. I'm trying to think, are there any... Way of White forms peace pact with Vinheim with sorcerers. To end forms peace agreement. Let's call it a peace agreement here. With sorcerers, forms peace agreement with sorcerers. Logan becomes disgraced. Sidelined and disgraced. All right. Yeah, this works. This works. This all works. Oh, we should also mention this. The undead, undead expelled from homeland travel to the Undead Burg. Undead Asylum to Undead Prison and Trial Ground. Travel to the Undead Burg. Travel to Lordran and live in the Undead Burg. And Trial Ground. Criminal elements banished to the depths. Sick elements banished to Blighttown. Or banished to Islith Fringes and establish criminal element. Let's just say okay, so we'll put this. Criminals banished to the depths. The sick banished to Islith Fringes and establish Blighttown. And yeah, okay, that works. Undead Burg administers. Oh, sorry. Undead Parish administers undead. I think it is better if we just include it all here. Criminals banished to the depths. The sick banished to Eyes of the Fringes and establish Blighttown. Yeah, this simplifies things a lot for us. God, yeah, I was right. This era is so big, chat. There's so much to consider here. So let's see. We've covered the stuff with Nito. The stuff with, kind of the stuff with Islith, but not quite yet because we haven't got into the, obviously, the stuff with Quelaag and stuff yet. The stuff with Seath, we haven't really got into either because Seath still has a lot of stuff he needs to move on. We have covered the madness element, though. So yeah, there's still a lot there. I don't know, I'll keep going, chat, but I don't know. I don't know, chat. Gwendolyn and Framp, the sick banished Eyes of the Fringes and established Blighttown. Ah, whatever, I'll leave that as is. I don't like that double 4, but whatever. Undead Asylum occurred to Undead Prison and Trial Ground. Depths, Outlet, turns, Islith, Fringes, to Poison, Swamp, and to Poison, Swamp. Poison, Swamp. Poison, Swamp, Poison, Swamp. Swamp, and kill. Poison Swamp kill. Because all this is kind of happening like around the same time. So Poison Swamp kills Archtree. Kills Archtree, Gaping Dragon, and Basilisks. Follow up. Kills Arch. And create the Great... And create... Kills Archtree and creates the Great Hollow. Follow up the Great Hollow. And enter the depths to the up to the depths. To the depths. Criminals banished. Yeah, let's... Oh, it's to the depths. Yeah, that makes that works fine. You know what I just realized? There's absolutely no reason why Quelaag should have had the girlies out. She used to be human. She still has a human torso. The Daughters of Chaos wore clothes. Honestly, so real of her. I mean, to be fair, it would be a little inconvenient when you have the giant-ass spider body to have to reach over and put on clothes every day. So you know what? I don't blame her, okay? Like, listen, I've already got a giant-ass spider lower half that I'm exposing to everybody, the whole world. Why not? Like, why not? Let's see. Criminals banished to the depths. Sick banished to the depths. Gaming Drive follows up to the depths. Banished to the death. Sick banished to Isolith Fringes. No, it's better if we do this, yeah. Criminals are banished to the depths. There, that's fine. I'll just keep it like this. I think a lot of this stuff is like really happening like really close together, but you can make an argument that like the sick are just beginning to trickle out. They start deciding to banish them there. They start to eventually do so, right? Yolva abandons duty. Yeah. Yolva abandons duty as sealer and becomes begins healing the sick in Blighttown. Let's actually say this and becomes Blighttown healer. Yeah, a lot of this we clearly need to move stuff. For firelinking. Let's see. Trial ground, Undead Legend of Undead mission is spread across the world of man. All right. All right, so it's 100 years old. Night King, Rendell, and Balder. Oh, let's put this actually. Balder falls to undead, to hollows. Balder collapses 2 hollows. Actually, it's Baldur collapses. Undead Burg developments. Oh my god. There we go. There we go. Bro, I'm looking at pictures of Choro Kumo right now, and they're all depicted with kimonos and yukata. You really, well, she really was just a freak like that. You know, listen, the spider ladies, just because they, just because, Japanese mythology makes it look easy doesn't mean it's practical in real life. Let's see, Baldur collapses. Hollows overwhelm. Let's see, Night King, Rendell, and Baldur Knights turn undead. Let's just say Rendell to make it simpler for us. Rendell and Baldur Knights turn undead and embark on mission. Rendell and Baldur Knights. Yeah, I think it's fine. Rendell and Baldur Knights perish. Reach sends fortress and perish / hollow. Berenike collapses. Berenike Knights turn undead and embark on mission. Berenike Knights reach sends fortress and perish / hollow. Logan dies and turns undead. Let's just say Logan dies of old age and turns undead. Let's just say Logan turns undead. Logan is exiled. And leaves. And leaves and leaves for the Duke's archives. Logan reaches, sends fortress, and is captured by the Snakeman. Obviously, yeah, putting this is the hardest part, is figuring out how to order some of this crap. Let's see. Sewage outlet, we'll say. Poison swamp kills archery and creates the Great Hollow. Criminals are banished to the depths. Yulva abandons to do. What's something we can say? Undead perish. Create shrine to firstborn for worshippers. Yeah, that's fair. Anything else major that we see experience in there? Not really. To poison swamp kills, develops to do so. Warriors visit Artorius's grave and are killed by Seath. Yeah, now Alvina establishes the Forest Hunters Covenant. We don't need to say that. The Forest Hunters. Warriors regularly visit Artorius' grave and are killed by Seath. Alvina establishes the Forest Hunters. Yeah, I'm thinking of all the different areas. It's like, okay, like, is there anything we really need to mention with like Undead Burg and Lower Undead Burg? I don't think so. Until the demons, of course, come into the picture. Nothing with really the asylum. Oh, we should mention the asylum demons. Asylum demons sent to Undead Asylum as prison wardens. For the trial, I should say. For the trials. Undead to do so. Jorogumo. Yeah, it's amazing seeing some of the yokai and other type of like weird monsters that exist in Japanese mythos. Like, it's just so expansive. It truly is crazy when you think about like all the various monsters like in that are spread about in just Japan, right? I wonder if there's a specific historical or like thing related to like geography or something for why that is, right? Because like, you know, the country's not that big, right? Maybe it does a better job of preserving some of its old local folktales. So like a lot of those like monsters and stuff that it has are just better remembered, maybe. That'd be something like that, like all those old folk tales and things. Let's see. Loken reaches his fortress. Oh yeah, let's get back to the Seath stuff. So, Seath, Seath notices the Undead Burg. Evangelists sent to the Undead Burg to collect specimens, to collect test subjects, we'll say. To collect test subjects. Actually no, to collect specimens for research, for experiments. I think It's Tark and Nachka, right? Our turn. Become spider. Become bonded as spider. No, as man scorpions. I'll just say scorpion men. I don't care for the localization's term. Like everyone's favorite, the umbrella with like. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of odd and bizarre entities for sure. Evangelists are sent to the Undead Burg to collect specimens for experiments. Snakemen are sent to collect sent out to collect specimens from the Undead Burg. Snakemen are sent out to collect specimens from Sen's Fortress. I didn't know Evangelists were a thing in DS1, only in DS3. Okay, so funny thing. So in Dark Souls 1, Seath's channelers are more accurate to translate as evangelists. In Dark Souls 3, the evangelists, I want to say it's wrong to translate this way, but it's a translation I prefer to use as preachers. Because it's not really about them evangelizing so much about it's them like instructing you and guiding you in the faith. So that it's more like, think more like your Protestant preacher, right? Like, yeah, sure, he may be evangelizing as part of it, but really he's just kind of the local community pastor who may be, he just took up his Bible and he's going to teach you the good word of the Lord, right? He's not like part of some big formal church institution or something. He's kind of doing his own independent thing. That's kind of the idea with the evangelists in Dark Souls 3. Now, granted, there are actually references to famous missionaries and stuff in Japan. Like everyone in Japan like learns with this in like primary school and stuff like that. Well, I think it's more like middle school and high school. But point is that it's one of these things where it's like From Software is basing it on like the educational history of like missionary work to Japan during the medieval era, and that sort of carries over into some of the early lore that was, and I think that basically that kind of stuck on the localization side, where they kind of stuck around with that, even as the idea kind of was like evolving, so that would become less and less about like evangelizing to people who didn't believe the faith or something like that, and more about just kind of like preaching the correct way to have the faith. Though again, I think it still works because of obviously this idea of the Way of White Cathedral of the Deep kind of transforms into its own like separate deep cult type thing. So again, I don't think it's a bad translation by any means. I just bemoan the fact that the evangelism aspect to Seath's channelers, like they're basically his priests, right? They're Seath's priests, like we see to other gods. Though again, all those gods don't have priests anymore; they now have bishops. Oh my god, it becomes it's such a mess. Were they sent for the Drake or the Maidens? You're gonna have to clarify for me what you mean, I am. Who got sent for the Drakes or the Maidens? Are you talking about the channelers? Like, again, so the Evangelists are sent out to collect specimens from the Undead Burg. So basically people. Snake Men are sent out to collect specimens from Sen's Fortress. We should... Actually, you know what? We should just collect specimens from there. Crystal golems. Collect specimens from Dark Root Garden. Moonlight, Butterfly, and Lake Beast. Yeah, this is where things get a bit awkward here. The problem with Logan's capture is it's very difficult to ascertain. It's a little difficult to ascertain when exactly he's captured in relation to when Seath starts noticing and gets involved here. Because Seath clearly gets involved a little bit like later in the timeline, but because of the way that the whole time flow of time is stagnant type of thing, it's possible like he gets like he could have been captured like quote unquote 2 days ago, but we meet him 100 years later, right? Makes sense. Since the first one you met is in the parish. Yeah, that's the exact point. Is like the entire tone they're supposed to set from the very beginning is that, oh, they are trying to convert you to the ways of Seath, which is also what the game's alluding to with, like, say, the white dragon shield that you collect earlier in the area. So like in Undead Burg, you collect this white dragon shield, you're like, oh, hey, that's a little weird. Like if someone sort of is really some people here were very closely aligned with a white dragon, I guess, right? You're kind of start wondering, hey, why is there all this sign of conflict and fighting and all this stuff? And then obviously you finally get to the evangelist in the Undead Parish. And you're supposed to get that's when it's really starting to get the sense that the Undead Burg has been taken over by the Seath cult element. Which kind of just gets slowly built upon and built upon and built upon. It culminates in stuff like when we see one of Lautrec's friends is that leather armor. I think it's the leather armor. No, not leather armor set. But like the iron or whatever set it is with the white dragon shield and whatever. Like basically like kind of like a militiaman type soldier with that's clearly been converted to the ways of Seath and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all again. There's a lot of subtle storytelling being done there, and it's even funnier because Dark Souls 3 thing kind of like does a redux of that, where it's like, here's another country which has recently been beset by a civil conflict involving a faction dedicated to a white dragon. Just that white dragon is also Ross now. There's a lot of funny meta stuff that DS3 does. Moonlight Butterfly and Lake Beast settle in Lake Beast moved to Dark Root Basin. Let's see. The Lake Beast is moved to Dark Root Basin. The Moonlight Butterfly is moved to Darkroot Garden. That overgrown new truly was the biggest bastard. What, you mean the Hydra? Yeah, that I will say the Hydra is it is quite the enemy to block our way for sure. Undead Burg hunts. In Darkroot Garden. I'll just mention this because of course we get the stuff with collecting the stupid lightning dust stuff, the different resins and lightning dust and all that stuff. So gotta mention that. So Logan reaches Sense Fortress and is captured by the Snakemen. Like I said, this is I think this is the weirdest part for the timeline and stuff there, because this is where the whole flow of time is stagnant, where there could be similar to what we see with Dusk, where again she she gets she gets captured in the past by enemies which haven't yet become before Seath actually has become a threat yet. So there's that stuff, and it's like this is a little bit vaguer to try to put because obviously there's not a huge gap in time. This is all happening over a 100-year period. So this is where it gets a little weird. Seath reaches out to the Undead Burg. Evangelists collect specimens from the Duso. Snake Man, Crystal Golems collect specimens from Darker Garden. Lake Beast is moved. Dark and Notch can become Duso. I don't think we need to mention the Gaping Dragon being identified as a specimen. I think what we have is already more than enough. Yeah, I might. I think we're gonna do this step. I think we're gonna do this, chat. We'll keep this here. I know it's a bit of a weird one, right? Because he ends up getting captured or whatever. But I think this is probably for the best, because we can't say when exactly along over the 100 years that Logan gets captured, and with how obviously the perception of time can differ thanks to the stagnant flow. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this could theoretically happen where Logan is exiled, leaves for the Duke Archives, and then he doesn't get captured all the way to like something down here. But for now, we'll keep it as part of this point. I can always move it down here if I'm feeling like, nah, that's if we're gonna keep things linear, we should try to keep things as linear as possible, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to think about like what to do, like with say like Oolacile's golems and stuff like that. Do we mention them in any capacity? It's funny that even when Logan got captured, he didn't go, hello, listen, the man never lost hope. He was like, I will be getting to the Duke's archives. I will, in fact, I will learn all the secrets of the White Dragon, right? He was pretty desperate. There's a lot of other stuff we have to establish. Kieran. I'm gonna assume by default we don't kill her. Are you planning to release multiple updates for AA? I have the digital. Do I get the updated one somehow, or do I buy it again? No. So, for your question there, Shao. Basically, what happens is that if there's ever an update to the edition, you can, from what I understand, from when I've talked to the publisher, you are able to download basically an updated version of that same digital copy. So it's basically like whatever the versions they have there. I'm not 100% familiar with the process, so I can like ask again just so I can fully understand it to better explain to you. But from what I understand, the publisher will like send out emails and stuff, kind of updating people, being like, hey, you can get an updated version or the newest edition of this copy of the book, right? So but I from what I understand, the if you bought your digital copy recently, it should be the most updated version. I've only done one. We've done various updates to like correct like typos and like little errors and stuff like that, but the only major one, like quote unquote major, is a minor revision quote unquote to Smo's entry, where I didn't want to highlight the aspect about the as I point out, the flesh and bone aspect and the possible double meaning with referring to family and stuff like that, and the idea that he was even basically harming and potentially cannibalizing his victims and their families. I was like, you know what, I've never really bought that. I only included it for complete clichéness sake. And after talking to one of my community members, Sneed, who actually helped with the QAing for Abyssal Archive before it came out, I decided, you know what, it'd be better if we try to focus and replace that and focus and expand on the the aspect of him getting sustenance from you know, the souls of those he's executing, such as what we see with Ornstein. So that's what I ended up doing there. But again, it's not like a major change in the thing. It's not like it's not like I was really like, I was even in the original, I wasn't really advocating for the cannibalism angle anyway. So like, again, outside of that like small thing, there hasn't been any major changes. And I'll be honest, barring some crazy new discoveries or something, there probably aren't going to be. Sorry, I meant I have the audiobook. Okay, audiobook will not be updated. So if there's any typos or mistakes or anything in the audiobook or something, again, we love Vati's vocals, but we will not be he will never be, like, as far as I'm aware. I'm not, I guess I should say that in case something changes, but to my knowledge, we will never be making any changes to the audiobook. Now, if it's the digital edition that you can read, like as a PDF or as like a Kindle or whatever means is available to you there, that one does get updated, much like how physical copies, when they get reprinted, will get updated. So I love the archetype of the tireless knowledge seeker going to no end to pursue further elucidation. Fear and Hunger has some great examples of that. Yeah, it's just a good thing, right? Like, it's the idea of the mad scientist, right? Like, the idea of a mad scientist isn't that he's just crazy, right? Because the mad scientist is still someone who's able to oftentimes create very impressive inventions and things of that nature, right? The problem is that he has become so consumed with his desire for knowledge that he has completely foregone morality, and as a result, he has become in some ways unrestrained, and in that sense mad to mankind by the ways that his limitless thinking causes him to engage with stuff in the most horrific manner, right? Will you put like a correction pages or something? I mean, I haven't I mean, I haven't planned to do anything of that sort. No. But maybe I'll consider that in the future. I'd have to listen through Vati's thing and be, you know, do a live comparison for it. So it is a big book though too. So yeah, I'd have to think about that one, but I'll definitely consider it. Steam happy. Hey, Arkneo, welcome to the chat. I'm not sure what you mean by Steam happy. I mean, there's no Steam here. We're not playing a game right now. Stream, though, is working, which is great. Like I said, Hoyo is great. Hoyo, they're like, listen, spread the OST far and wide. We love it when you spread the word of our gacha. So I do not mind. All right, thanks, dude. No worries. Yeah, no, again, like I said, there shouldn't be anything too major in terms of the typos and corrections thing. For the audiobook, I can't remember if that was before or after we fixed that typo about Priscilla being a god or not. That might not have made it in. I don't remember if that, because we were doing because around the time the audiobook was being recorded, we were also doing the first draft of typo corrections and stuff. So I don't remember what got recorded with Vati when for the. All right. Where was I on this? Yeah, Kjaran abandons the Lord's Blade. But you can't kill her. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna avoid that. But we should mention where's Firstborn. Lord's Blades fall apart. Yeah, okay. Undead encounter Gwendolyn. Oh, let's put this. Gwendolyn establishes the blades of the Dark Moon. Yeah. So Gwendolyn finally establishes the blades of the Dark Moon to replace the Lord's blades in this subsequent period. Now that he has undead that are coming to the city, and not all of them are. Oh wait, that reminds me. We have to go back up here. We forgot about our good old friend Ornstein and Smo. See, this is the beautiful thing, Jed, of me knowing I forgot stuff, but we can go back and fill in. Smo becomes knight. Or is that Smo is promoted to knighthood. Is granted knighthood as Guinevere's bodyguard. Ornstein becomes Guinevere's bodyguard. Actually, you know what? Let's make this simpler for us. Alongside Ornstein. Ornstein leaves to pursue Firstborn and leaves soul parts of his soul. Let's say fragments, shards, fragments, pieces. Yeah, okay, pieces of his soul. And Orlando creates a golem of Ornstein to replace golems to replace Ornstein. Yep, okay. As Guinevere's bodyguard. Let's make this simple. He leaves his ring too. Yeah, that. The thing is that, like, you have his ring, because the thing is, we know that from Dark Souls 2 there are multiple rings for stuff, for I think Leo rings specifically. So like the rings, his equipment, his weapons, like all that stuff can be manufactured and stuff. So Orlando creates golem to release Ornstein as the guard. So all of that's accounted for with this. I don't like using leaves twice here, so leaves, post to pursue one string, and provides pieces of his soul. Yep. And Orlando creates the golem to replace them there. Okay, so I think that's the last. Obviously, we also have the gargoyles and stuff. There's always the question of at what point do the what point do we want to mention the gargoyles? I guess we could mention this stuff earlier. So Orlando creates golem to replace Ornstein as Guinevere's guard. Actually, that reminds me about the wyvern stuff we talked about earlier. Let's do this. Wyverns receive sunlight power as and become servants / pets. There we go. So that's covered there. All right, so I think we got the Smo stuff out of the way. I'm not going to mention the statues that get constructed because that kind of like all gets wrapped up into it. Actually, yeah, that's pretty much all wrapped up into this statement here. So I think that's fair. We don't need to go into more anal detail. Ornstein leaves post to pursue Firstborn, piece of soul, and Orlando creates golem to replace Esgwyn's guard. The developments Berenice Knights. Logan turns undead. Boulder collapses. Berenice. Obviously we know other country. Berenice Knight. Crest Fallen Merchant. Begins scavenging. Failed heroes. I'm not going to mention the Iron Golem being set up because, like, again, I think that's not needed for this in particular. We'll do that to keep this simple. Certain Boulder Knights return to Undead Parish. Certain Berenice Knight returns to Undead Parish. Parkus succeeds. Surpasses Iron Golem and reaches Tarkus, and others reach Anor Londo. We'll just do that to simplify it. Tarkus. We'll just do this. Certain Berenice Knights reach Anor Londo. Tarkus. Tarkus falls and dies in Ariamis Art Gallery. Certain Berenice Knight enters Ariamis and defects. Oh, that reminds me. With the Dark Wraith stuff. Captured Dark Wraiths are transferred to Ariamis prison. All right. Okay, cool. We have to talk about the Ariamis prison break soon enough, so. I think that covers all the stuff with Berenice and Boulder. Logan, Logan is fine. Let's see. Vinheim sends Griggs to spy on Logan as his apprentice. I'll just say Logan spy. We don't have to get into the weeds about that one. Should probably sorcerers. Dragon School establishes sorcerer spies, for destitute attendees. The Dragon School. The Dragon School becomes Shadow Ruler of Vinheim. You know, when you look at it like this, Lloyd and the Gods' concern about Vinheim makes more sense. You know, it's like if I had an institution establish a sorcerers that are dedicated to the dragon who just recently went mad and forced us all out of our original homeland in the land of the gods. And that institution not only was established in that country, but was now secretly controlling all the politics in that country. I might be more than a little concerned about how that will pan out in the future. Just a little bit. I might be concerned this isn't about preserving sorcery after the collapse of Oolacile. It might be more about preparing a hostile takeover of our home in the world of man too. Logan turns undead. Gwendolyn establishes the Blades of the Dark Moon. Dark Moon Knightis recruited as Firekeeper. Becomes Firekeeper. For Undead Mission. Tasked to become Firekeeper for... Yeah, there we go. Listen, Seath knows what he's doing. Can you imagine telling Seath that he has like he has basically an entire cult following in the world of man who established an entire school effectively in his name? And then you tell him that they gave him scales. I think he might be actually I don't know if he would be like furious or appreciative. Like, would he take that as an insult? I don't know. I really don't know. Tasked to become Firekeeper for Undead Mission. Baldur and Berenike Knights recruited. Are recruited. Etc. Visiting Baldur, Berenike Knights are recruited. We'll do this. Baldur / Berenike Knights, etc. are recruited. Darkmoon Knights tasked with becoming is tasked with becoming Firekeeper for Undead Mission. Maybe Gwendolyn realized that nobody actually wants to complete the mission. They just want to join his covenant in the end. It's just too difficult once you get to Anor Londo. So he's like, okay, listen, maybe we should set up another Firekeeper. Maybe we need another Firekeeper, not just in not just at Firelink Shrine, you know? Let's go back here. The Way of White sends undead holy women to become Firekeepers. They're already doing that in New Londo and stuff, so I don't think we should mention this. I already mentioned that kind of vaguely. Right, so Tark and Nechka. Yeah, okay. Dark Moon Knights remove the god's enemies. Velka provides Dark Moon Knights. Targets with Book of the Guilty. You know what? We don't need to get into that specific, I think. He wants some of that Gwyn's family privilege. Let's see. What do we got here? Become bonded as Scorpion Men. Instead of saying moved, is sent to Darkroot Basin, is sent to Darkroot Garden. Certain Moonlight Butterfly. There we go. We'll do this as one Moonlight Butterfly. As Scorpion Men, Evangelists, Spark, Uprising within Undead Burg. Yeah, I think that's fair. Just we'll put the Tarkanachka thing as part of the experiments and stuff. Undead Burg collapses. Evangelists, Spark, Uprising. Yeah, Evangelist, Spark, Uprising, and with Seath worshippers, Seath converts, we'll say, everyone hollows, right? That's basically what we were trying to get at, right? Burg regulars, hollow. Hello. I'm glad that my streams are, you know, soothing for you in the background, Nick. Like I said, I just wanted to try something different and do like something where it's like, this is a very boring task for me. So having you guys there to, you know, watch my work and kind of give me suggestions of being like, oh, what about this? Or maybe you forgot this, or maybe you should include this, you know, I appreciate it. It helps. So let's see. Evangelist, Spark Uprising with Seath converts, Burg Railers and Seath Irregulars. Parish / Hollow. Parish / Hollow. Evangelists. Evangelists. Certain evangelists ends converting. We should say takes over. We'll just say evangelist in general, because obviously evangelists take over Undead Parish, right? Effectively. From within. There's nothing really with the depths we have to mention, right? Yeah, okay, so this actually I think I can make this work. So Quelaag and the Fair Lady flee the Demon Ruins. Another stuff we forgot for Islith. Pact. Fallen daughter of chaos is buried. Is buried / enshrined. Ceaseless discharge watches over fallen sister. And watched over by brother. We'll do that. Make that simpler. Watched over by... Because we have to include that for sure. There we go. Islith, gradually abandoned. Islith becomes Demon Ruins. I think that's fair. Yep, okay. There. All right, I think that's fair. Islith breaks the pact. To be fair, you can kind of argue that the god, Anor Londo did it first when they were basically planning to have their mother killed. So it's like, all's fair. Quelaag and the Fair Lady flee the Demon Ruins. Quelaag's domain. Bell of... Oh, that actually reminds me. Another thing. The bell. Undead perish. Constructs. Bell of Awakening. Second Bell of Awakening. And Orlando constructs first Bell of Awakening. There we go. Inventions are very useful compared to their master. Yeah, their master doesn't have eyes that can see across everywhere. Let's see. Oh, 1 second, chat. Sorry. I lost you guys for a minute. I accidentally clicked something. There we go. Undead perish? I sure hope they do. I would hope undead perish, especially when I hit him with a holy weapon, So let's see. Flee Demon Ruins. First, Bell of Awakening becomes Quailag's domain. Quailag's domain. What do we do there? Islith. I'm going to refer to it as Islith just to simplify things, but Islith makes... no. Yeah, you know, we'll leave it as Islith break the packs. The thing is, I want to do this so that way we cannot be confused about who we're talking about here. Let's just put it like this. Quailag and the Quailag and the Fair Lady. Quailag makes let's see, converts Blighttown to Chaos Worship. Quailag begins converting Blighttown to Chaos. Fair Lady becomes Firekeeper and establishes Chaos Servants. What am I working on? A timeline? Just tuning in? Yeah. I've been working. This is day 2 on us trying to put together the DS1 timeline that I'm trying to do. This is actually for something unrelated, but I wanted to get this done anyway at some point, and I figured this would be a good way to get this boring work done by doing it publicly, so you can all point and laugh at me as I try to get this all put into order. So let's see. Fairly becomes Firekeeper, establishes the Chaos Servants. Chaos Servants offer humanity to Fair Lady for her to lay eggs. There we go. Demon parasites. Eggs hatch. Parasites. Servants bear eggs. Eggs are born by servants and hatch parasites for new demons. Eggs are born by servants and hatch parasites. Actually, you know what? There's a bit of overlap between these events. Again, I'm going to go back and forth on this stuff forever, chat. Let's just work on this as if it's the last thing, right? Like at the time this stuff is collapsing, this stuff is also kicking up, right? Eggs are born by our eggs are let's just say are born by servants here because they're a hold, you know, they are a burden on their back, right? And hatch parasites. Parasites turn servants into the diseased of chaos. Servants create new dog breed with chaos. Before that, we should have chaos servants and Blighttown. Yolva is killed in fighting. Chaos servants and Blighttown. Spark uprising in Blighttown. I feel like I can. Chaos servants. Chaos servants clash with Blighttown. Yeah, Chaos servants clash with Blighttown. Blighttown. Dilva is killed. The servants create new dog breed with chaos. And take over. Alright, so we're trying to think. The Ascendant, servants create new Quelaag sends demons to block undead path to undead mission. Or let's say to Bells of Awakening. Taurus demon. Becomes lurks in undead Burg towers. Rampart towers. There we go. Actually, no, ramparts. Lurks atop undead Burg ramparts. Takes a post atop. Let's see. Capra demon takes up post in lower undead Burg. Capra demon stray dogs. Oh, let's see. Hollow thieves and stray dogs become Capra demons servants. Capra demon takes over lower undead Burg. Undead Burg ramparts. Alright, so all of that is happening until Evangelists take over undead parish from within. Firstborn worshippers. Pray for deliverance. Firstborn sends Hellkite to protect worshippers. I think that's everything, chat. Oh, wait. Evangelists collect armored tusks for Dukesar. Yeah, let's do that. Because that's about the time, you know, they've taken over, they've got the Tusk, and they can start sending them back up to Duke's Archives at that point. Firelink Shrine is still doing its thing. Anastasia is still doing her thing. Anastasia. Cuts. Dismembers legs. Dismembers own legs. Dismembers her own legs too. Resolve. For her resolve. In resolve. For mission. I guess we'll put that as that. We'll include it because around this point, Isla breaks the pact and stuff like that. Like I said, this stuff is kind of happening around here. Undead merchants flee. Here we go. Undead merchants flee to scavenge. Flee to hide / scavenge from Burg Hollows. From Burg. Let's just say from Burg in general, right? Because obviously one of them's just hiding in the sewers, like collecting moss. All right, so I think that covers the big stuff with Isla for sure. Are there any other major events? Actually, wait. Now I remember. I'm pretty sure we said Asylum. Yeah, because originally it was originally the Burg regulars did this. I completely forgot that. Yeah, so we don't need to worry about this here. It's over down here. Yeah, so just adapting. Anything with Solaire worth mentioning? No. Oh, our store. We still have all that. There's so much stuff. Oh my god. There's so much stuff with our store. Of course. How could I forget? Seath reaches out to the Undead Burg. Tarkanashka become bonded as scorpion men. Anything else we want to include there before we get into that? No. Undead Burg, of course, collapses and stuff like that. Alright, so, Blades of the Dark Moon. Earl, our store receives Velka's backing. I can't remember if he invents. I think our store invents. I think he invents the oh, what's it called? Not the sickle. The Shotel, right? Men's Shotel. Our store performs experiments. Invents spear. I forgot what it's called now at the top of my head, but he invents his spear. Let's just call it invents our store's spear, because I think that might be the name. Good old Ulster. What else do we have from him? Earl Arstor of receives Velka's backing in Karim. Arstor, establishes, performs experiments, creates, performs human experiments to create purging stones. Actually, no. Creates purging stones in human experiments. Our store invents bite rings. Geez, you don't realize just how much this guy has done. Oh, God. Our little own Dracula. Let's see. Our store invents the bite rings. And then, our store sends expedition to investigate New Londo. That should cover that. We have the stuff with, we have the stuff with the forest hunters. We have the archdragon dying. Yeah, so let's see what else we could do here. Astora Knights kill archdragon in Valley of the Drake. Kill and are killed. Mortally wound archdragon in Valley of the Drake and are killed. Forest hunters, I don't think we need to worry about the characters and stuff getting recruited there. That's mostly generic crap we don't care about. Patches we don't really care about. We don't care about Petrus and the stuff with Rhea and stuff because they obviously don't show up and are not really that relevant. Solaire, same deal. Ingward. Okay, should probably... Fina enters, Fina has fling with Lautrec. Fina abandons Lautrec. Lautrec turns undead. Lautrec is abandoned and goes mad. We'll just say goes mad for now, just for simplicity's sake. Lautrec's abandoned and goes mad. Lautrec turns undead and searches for Fina in Lordran and begins search for Fina in Lordran. Lautrec let's say Lautrec is suddenly abandoned. Let's just say instead of going mad is suddenly abandoned and fervently. He searches for Fina. Fervently seeks reunion. There we go. That I think that's fine. Restore knights are mortally wound Archdragon in the Valley of Drakes and are killed. Gaping Dragon, we know. I don't think we need to mention the problems Gaping Dragon causes. I don't think we need to mention the cannibalism in the depths. The depths do not need the cannibalism mentioned. Anything else with Blighttown that's really relevant? I don't think so. We mentioned the dogs and stuff. We already mentioned basilisks and the gaping dragon climbing up the hollow and things. Oh. Stone Dragon of Ash Lake starts our Flesh Lake becomes Dragon Cult emerges in Ash Lake. Undead encounter Stone Archdragon. We wanna certain undead encounter Stone Archdragon. Archdragon. Stone. Let's just call this the localization calls it what, like Ancient Stone Dragon or something, right? Ancient Stone Dragon establishes path to the dragon. Secret. I don't know if you, we don't want to say secret because there is like rumors and stuff for it, but let's see. Let's just say Dragon Cold Emerge. Yeah, we don't need to be secret about that. Undead pilgrims. Leave humanity behind to become archdragons. My favorite fictional power system. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh god, there's so many though. I do like the Honkai, how the Honkai verse handles some stuff, but I feel like there's some elements of like imaginary energy and all that stuff that's a little vague that I would like to have. You know, it's a, you know, it's not like, you know, it's not quite organized into something. Fate has a really cool magic system to it. I really liked oh, what's it called? Twin Star Exorcists. That one had a very interesting system, but I don't know if it's so much the system that I like and so much how the railroad and the action is. I have to like kind of go back and kind of really examine the rules there to that one. Ancient Magus's Bride has a really cool magic system because it kind of captures that kind of feel of like, you know, traditional magic and stuff like that, where it's more like kind of like it's more like a force and phenomenon with ritual. Rather than like, you know, like a power energy source that you draw upon, right? Ooh. Oh, yeah, there's like so many I would have to go through. Naruto is like, Naruto's is a bit weird with like chakra and stuff like that because like, yeah, there's a lot you can kind of like, but there's also a lot of BS in Naruto's system, right? Especially toward the end of the series, they kind of like start kind of like throwing everything up the wall. It's like, oh god. So I don't know how I would feel about that one. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. There's like those are some examples, but like like which one I like think is like really like the best of the best that I really love. Yeah, I'd have to really sit down and think on that one. Oh well, that was a good exercise. Thanks, Nick. All right, so undead pilgrims leave humanity behind to become archdragons. Yeah, I think that's fair. So the cult emerges, so that covers that. Oh, how can we forget? What's his name? Domhnall, right? Something like that. Domhnall. Leaves Avalon. To in Duke's archives. Exchanges Avalon for crystal weapons in Duke's archives. Yeah, there's there's a lot. I'd have to go through and like be like, because I'm sure there's serious like, you know me, chat. I have such a terrible memory for this stuff. I'm sure you give me for like 5 seconds, I'd be able to remember more. But like, it's one of those things where I'd have to really kind of go through and be like, okay, what are all the ones that I have that I really love the system for? Like, well, I even want to go so far as say, like, you know, I really love the way that Star Wars handles a lot of stuff with the Force. But the problem is there's also a lot of really dumb, weird stuff that also happens with the Force. So I can't really say so, cause right, like it would be me like, you know, picking and choosing my canon that I want to reference for the stuff. But like when Star Wars is at its best, it really is at its best with that type of thing. And then when it's at its worst, it's like absolute schlock. Like I said, there's somewhere I'm like, you know, I like ideas or things or characters or how they handle things within the context of the setting, but I wouldn't call it like on its own, like my favorite power system, as it were, right? Like I have to really go through like a lot of like, especially action series. Like, for example, I really liked, for example, how the mechanics work in, say, Death Note, for example. I really like all the rules and all the little insights we get across some of the spin-off material and stuff on the Shinigami. But, you know, when you have all these gods of death and stuff like that and their rules, like, is it really like your favorite, like, power system per se? I don't know. Like, it's a kind of a weird one, right? Because it's really just revolving around the Death Note, right? And otherwise it's a pretty grounded real world setting, right? Oh, you know what? You know what? The more that I think about it, you know what might win? It would probably be CERN Magical Index Series / CERN Scientific Railgun. I really, really love how they handle espers and stuff in that franchise. Like I really love it, like going from like level 1 to level 5, trying to create the level 6 and all that stuff. Some of the stuff that they have with like magic and things. That one's a really cool system. Dorohedoro's is really, really fun. I have not seen that series yet, but I want it's on my backlog. Anyway, let's see. Domhnall exchanges Avalon for crystal weapons in Duke's archives. Is there any other like little major notable events we want to kind of include here? Really, the only thing I can think of is like Patches is kicking down clerics, right? Scoring, I think I gotta go with Personas. Personas is a good one. I think for me the problem with Personas is it's a little too video gamey, right? Like it's a little too mechanical how they do it across the games, where like, you know, you're taking and you're fusing and you do like, I'm just like I like it for the game in the context of the games themselves. It's fun and all that stuff. But like if I took it like as its own, or like if I imagine I was someone in the setting, I'm like, I don't know if I feel really cool being like Persona, you know. Besides like you know, shooting myself in the head or tearing off a mask or whatever method they choose throughout the games, to summon your like you know, glorified stand or whatever. I don't know. I don't know just how like enthralled I would be with having that type of power. Anyway, Domhnall, let's see. Domhnall exchanges Avalon for crystal weapons and Duke's Archon. Like, I think that covers most of. Oh wait, we can't forget. We can't forget our Havel friend. Cleric, blacksmith, Locks, Havel, warrior, friend in Watchtower. Myth flees to Oolacile fortress and sets up shop. Andre flees to Oolacile to Old Church. Yeah, that pretty much covers what we'd want, right? Granted, Andre might do this so before the whole collapse stuff happens. He might just be doing that on his own because he wants to do his blacksmithing stuff, right? It's kind of left vague enough. Because we know Andre has seen people who pass by to go meet the cleric blacksmith because they know he's there. But that's already after the collapse too. But he also sees people who just go there for Artorias' grave and stuff like that, right? Yeah, I'll keep it here. I'll keep it here where it is. I think it's fine as is. It's just stuff that's happening out there in the world. Strava is the chosen undead is imprisoned in Undead Asylum. Strava is imprisoned in Undead Asylum. All right. We know those have to be like the last two major events because that's right before the game begins. Like I said, nothing much with patches and crew. Pinwheel, the whole pinwheel stuff, all that needs to be factored in. Pinwheel betrays Nito. Pinwheel steals. It's not really fair because it's not just, there's more than one pinwheel, but anyway, Pinwheel steals steals right of kindling and flees to the catacombs. Pinwheel takes over the catacombs. The Pinwheel becomes the king of the catacombs. There we go. Trying to think of anything else we want to include. Pinwheel recruits Undead as necromancer apprentices. Let's just say as apprentice necromancers. Yeah, there we go. That's about it, right? There's nothing else really notable to mention here. Oh, wait, right. Nito sends Leroy to Yeah, Nito sends Leroy to what's the word? Not recruit. To punish Pinwheel. Let's just put it as that. Leroy leaves. Summon. Sign. Yeah. We don't need to mention that. It's more important for Dust than it is for any of the other characters here. All right. Let's see. Griggs is captured. Griggs kills Vinheim. Griggs investigates and kills Vinheim and is locked inside. Yeah, that's actually probably the best way to put this, yeah. Lower Undead Burg falls into chaos. Chaos in Capra. Demons take over. There we go. Yeah, and is locked inside. In Lower Burg and is locked in. Laurentius. When Laurentius leaves for... Yeah, that's probably this. Laurentius leaves for Islith and is captured in the depths. By Cannibal Cook in the depths. All that, like we said with Petrus and stuff, it's not really that important. We know Solaire, Patches, Lautrec, all these have... Oh yeah, Lautrec. Lautrec leaves for Anor Londo and is captured by Undead Parish. I think that kind of covers. Third sealer. Yeah, we're not gonna mention the third guy, I feel. Let's do it like this, actually. Ingward's companions abandon duties as sealers and leave. For outside. And leave New Londo, or it becomes... Alright, chat. I've done what I can. 13 pages, oh my god. 13 pages, chat. We almost Yeah, because this is page 7. It is. I truly did underestimate just how much stuff this last section would cover. Holy crap. I'm sure there's more stuff we can include, but I think this is a good starting point in terms of just like throwing things together. Obviously I'd have to review and fact check my own work and stuff. Double check with Abyssal Archive and other stuff, see if you guys notice anything that I'm missing and need to include in here. But I think we've gotten a lot of the major events in here, so that's good. I'd have to probably think more on like probably some of the little vignettes and stuff and see if anything amounts to something worth pointing out. Why do you do this to yourself? I don't know either, Xavier. I don't know. I do not know why I do this to myself either. It's insane though when I look at it. I'm just like, oh my god. I think Persona 5 system is awesome. P5 has the most style, I think, for sure. I do like though what P3 Reloaded did though. They started like updating it so that way, you know, it has something, you know, it's not quite P5's like style and flair to it, but it still feels good. Yeah, P3 can be depressing, but like, oh, it's so good. Is there a cultural origin From Software's cannibal execution characters, or we just get Meralda out of BDSM and it spiraled from there? Okay, so here's from what I understand happened. Demon Souls had the cannibal lady in Valley of Defilement, right? So that was where it all started, it looks like. Then in Dark Soul, then from we go from Demon Souls to Dark Souls, and Dark Souls gave us Smo, right? So Miyazaki, Smo kind of developed where Miyazaki really liked the design, so he wanted Smo to be something more unique and special. So of course Miyazaki immediately goes to cannibalism. So that's what Smo happened. Then it looks like somewhere in like the network testing or whatever, somewhere down the line, someone, I can't remember, it was someone who was cosplaying. Oh no, there was one guy who was cosplaying as Smo, but there was another person who was cosplaying as the Valley Defilement cannibal lady. And was going around with like doing, you know, the cannibal lady stuff, and that convinced Miyazaki to do the what's her name? Not Miranda. I forgot what her name is. Oh, Mildred. That's what it was. So then we end up with Mildred. Now I don't know how much Meralda specifically influenced Mildred. Right, compared to, because like with Smo we obviously have just like they're two like really crazy executioners, but then you don't get the cannibal element, right? Like that's what it. I got my brain all confused because I said cannibalism was Smo, right? Ah, damn. This is what happens when I get my brain all mixed up because I was mixing Smo with Marletto. Now what happened was Miyazaki wants Smo to be more unique, so he immediately thinks of depraved executioner. Sorry about chat. I confused myself for a second there. Total brain fart. I rant and rave earlier in the stream, and then I myself have a short circuit here. Anyway, so the point is, like, you had the depraved executioner with Meralda, but you had the cannibal lady in Valley of Defilement. Then Miyazaki decides he's going to do something similar there with Smo. You had people who were kind of cosplaying as Smo and stuff like that in there that they were enjoyed, but then one person cosplayed as the Valley of Defilement lady, and that's how we ended up getting what's it called? Not Miranda, Mildred, right? And then that's how it kind of spiraled from there. So then we had to have some sort of like cannibal, we had to have some cannibal butcher lady in all the games, and who would be going around trying to hunt down and kind of executing characters, right? And eventually that developed into somehow Anastasia as our firekeeper got mixed in, and suddenly we have freaking cannibal butcher lady firekeeper in the form of Anastasia in Elden Ring. So it's like one of those AI things where like you've seen the thing where like the AI is told to like do the same process over and over again, and somehow it just gets worse and worse over time. That seems to be what we get. Like From Software keeps iterating upon the same damn idea, and now it's becoming like this weird conglomeration of other stuff unrelated. Dude, go to bed. I really should, chat. I doing this stuff as late and tired as I am, like, it's never smart, and yet I keep doing it. To Paris shows undead and prison undead. I sound strong as a prison. I don't think there's anything else. We don't need to mention Mildred, speaking of which. Oh, Kirk. Where is it? We skipped it. Chaos Servants. Let's actually do this, chat. Because they're already breaking the pack, so sends the Bells of Awakening stuff. Fair Lady consumes Fair Lady becomes sick. The Fair Lady. Let's just put it like this. Quaylag's plan falls apart. Quaylag's plan falls apart. The Fair Lady consumes diseased plus of Chaos Servants and becomes sick and falls ill. Eggs become the Fair Lady's eggs become stillborn. Quaylag cries over sister. The Chaos Servants offer attempt to cure her. Let's say cure the Fair Lady. Let's put that. Yeah, you hate those videos. They scare me. Yeah, it's always funny seeing some of the crazy stuff algorithms pump out. The Chaos Servants attempt to cure the Fair Lady. Quaylag cries over her sister. I too would cry if all my plans and dreams were ruined because my sister decided to be a dumbass and eat the pus. Do not eat the pus. I'm trying to see if there's anything where we might want to include Engi here. Not really. Not really. Let's do this. Engi becomes poison pyromancer. Let's put this. Engi invents poison pyromancy. Is expelled from the Great Swamp as a heretic. Engi it's never really clarified exactly if he's undead or not, but he may have turned undead at any point. Anyway, Engi turns undead. He probably did turn undead to end up where he's at, because he could have theoretically shown up. Could have theoretically just kind of traveled around until he got killed, probably by someone, because like pyromancer. Engi turns undead, and And travels to Undead Burg, to the Undead Burg. Engi researches poisons in Blighttown and becomes sick, diseased, plagued. Yeah, that I think is fair. It's not just him. We know there are multiple that try to do this, that try and fail, right? Because we also see the corpse with the Carmina pyromancy, right? Power within. And I think there's a few other pyromancer stuff that we can find down there. I can't remember exactly. All right, but I came up here for Kirk. I almost forgot Kirk. Getting distracted, chat. Many such cases. Fair Lady becomes Firekeeper, establishes Chaos Servants, offer humanity to Fair Lady to lay eggs. Eggs are born by servants and hatch parasites. Parasites turn servants into disease of chaos. Chaos Servants clash with take over. Gilb is killed. Servants create new dog breed. Kirk becomes Chaos Servant. It can really happen at it really does. There's not really like a strict timetable on when Kirk encounters the Fair Lady. Encounters the Fair Lady and becomes Chaos Servant. Actually, you know what? Probably it's after she gets sick, based on what we know. Add that sympathy card. Okay, yeah, this more or less covers all that. Yeah, oh my god, there's so much here. There's so much here. Yeah, like almost every point requires additional bullet points because there's just so much stuff happening. And like I said, I'm being a little too detailed on some of this stuff. We could probably just kind of like keep this to like one line or something, and the sub points would just be for summary purposes. But man, oh, my bad. I think that's everything. I think that's everything for now. We've covered Kirk. We don't need to mention Mildred. Leroy we've covered. Darkus we've covered. Lautrec, Solaire, Patches. Again, we don't need to cover what's his fake Shiva and the Shadow. Alvina's covered. Don't need to cover most of the Forest Hunters and stuff like that. Ferris, who cares? America is definitely who cares. Like who? Literal who? Nothing with the Duke's archives that we haven't already. Oh, wait. There it is. Remind me. Ah, what the hell? Broken pendant is captured by Crystal Golem and returns to Duke. Returns to the future. Drifts. Back to the future. And drifts back to the future. Pendant. Crystal Golem with broken pendant returns. There we go. Returns to do. With broken pendant returns to Duke's archives. Let's see. Ziegland is captured by Crystal Golem and Golem captures Ziegland and returns to Duke's archives. Okay, yeah, that covers that. So Ziegland, Siegmeyer, we don't really need to mention, I think, anything notable with Siegmeyer particularly. Dusk we've covered. Griggs we've covered. Laurentius we covered. Engi we've covered. The merchants we've covered. Our store we've covered. Carmina we've covered. Salaman we've covered. Quaylana we've covered. Gwaelana. We don't need to mention Gwaelana. She's just doing her job. Isleth and the Butts we don't need to cover. Cease's Discharge we don't need to cover. The demons and the centipede demons and all that jazz we don't need to cover. Taurus and Capra we don't need to cover. We've already covered everything regarding the regulars and the Seath cult and the evangelists. We've already covered Gaping Dragon, basilisks, new Londo ghosts. New Londo victims, new Londo citizens, become ghosts, and escape seal. So yeah, the ghosts of New Londo we've now covered. Mountain of Corpses is also something. Great Mountains of Corpses. Yeah, that'd be good. Actually, wait. Be down here. Yeah, become mountains of corpses and remain trapped. So we have the mountain of corpses. Nobody gives a F about Zieglin, but I think she's so cool. A true girl boss if there ever one. Yeah, again, I think she's a fine. I think she's like a fine character. Like it's a neat little thing she has with her father or whatever. But I never do their quest, chat. I've never done their quest. I just don't care. All right, so we cover that there. Is that the last thing of New Londo that we really need to include? I think so. Archdragon, Valley of Drakes, who got covered. Blighttown with all the different enemies and stuff. Really much the Eastern predilection there. What about Depths? I think we've covered. We don't need to cover anything else with Domhnall. We don't need to cover anything else with... maybe we do. No, lower Undead Burg is covered. Yeah, we're good. Up regular Undead Burg, I don't think we need to worry about either. Ooh, Yeah, all the residential buildings we've covered already. Merchants we've covered. Firelink Shrine. No, not at least before the main events of the game. Yeah, so I don't think we need to worry about that. If we might want to include the events of the canonical events of the main story and stuff too, probably. Oh, that's gonna be such a pain. We'll do that. We'll do that next time. We'll do that next time, because yeah, for a complete timeline, we should include the canonical events of the main story. We shouldn't just stop at when the game begins. In that case, let's change this to this. Is freed from the Undead Asylum by Oscar. There we go. Undead defeats the Asylum demon and escapes. And escapes. The chosen undead travels to Lordran. And rings both bell. We'll keep it as this for now, and we can expand on it later if we want. Save myself time. Honestly, like, and pursues undead mission. And becomes Firelinking hero. There we go. And then we can have the sub points for all that stuff. Not even for the slap whack. I just do not. Listen, chat. Whenever I play DS1, I've always played as a pyromancer. And then I got really lucky when I first played, and I ended up picking up the Black Knight's greatsword early on after I killed them. Like, that was the drop. And then I just played with Black Knight's greatsword as a pyromancer the entire game. That's basically what I've done ever since. Like, that is always my go-to build. And then as soon as I pick up I usually would one of my first playthrough, at least, I went to Oscar's armor, and then I would pick up Tarkus's armor eventually, and then I would use that for the rest of the game, and that's basically been my favorite combination since. I've kind of changed the shields over the years. Like, I've never always kept the same exact shield. But like, otherwise, like, yeah, pretty consistent. I think that's it. I think that's finally it, chat. I think we've covered the last of the big events. I want to mention also how Vinheim sends people on special mission. I do want to mention that. Let's do it like this. Vinheim sends sorcerer, swordsman on special to Duke's archive. To Duke's archives. Yeah, we'll do that. Logan turns undead. He does. Yeah, okay. That'll work. Sure. Carmina. Okay, chat. We've been at this for hours. I think we've covered as many of the details as I can. I thought about this, I think, a little bit too much right now. I think my brain is fried with how late it's gotten, so I think this is probably a good stopping point. We stop here. If you guys want to add anything, you can leave comments. Tell me on the Discord, whatever. And I think this is where we drop. We drop it here and we pick this again another day. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. From page 7 to 13, we almost doubled it. Oh my god. Oh, it's insane. And that's just for the first game, chat. Oh my god, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm our partisan and Artorias is great shield guy. I mean, that I can see that, being able to just kind of poke from behind the shield. Because if I remember correctly, Artorias' great shield has like crazy good resistances, right? So you pick that thing up, you're pretty much good for the whole game. Yeah, we don't have to worry about anything with Sif or anything we have to add, speaking of. Yeah, so, okay, I think this is where we end it. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I apologize that we had to drop and change to a different stream halfway through. Again, my apologies. You know, I just got to keep that in mind now whenever we're doing stuff with the with these songs and things, that sometimes if the stream goes on too long, the YouTube might just pick it up. You know, stupid automated system. Forgot to mention how Logan got his big hat. Of course, how could I forget? The big hat. He's Big Hat Logan, and I didn't mention the big hat. What am I going to do? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to conk out now, guys. So thank you so much. Talk to y'all later.